Gunfire and shouting open the film. Chaos reigns until Rachel Wilde's calm voice slices through. She explains her niche, hunting hidden debts buried in legal loopholes and shell companies. She lives in the gray between lawful and not, chasing money others thought untouchable. We meet Braxton, a debt collector and Rachel's mentor at Spencer Goldstein. He advises Salazar's bodyguard, Axel Olsen, to stop where there's a signal and take a break. Braxton's own guard, Gerald, gives him a private moment while watching Olsen. Braxton, confident, tells his boss Bobby Sheen he's on Salazar's island with a signed agreement and can reclaim the billion plus interest. Bobby is wary but tempted, promising Braxton 5% if he succeeds. When Braxton reassures Rachel, Olsen shoots Gerald, then kills Braxton. Olsen tells Salazar the contract is void. Salazar gloatingly says Spencer Goldstein can fetch their money themselves or suffer Braxton's fate if they send anyone. Rachel storms into Bobby Sheen's office uninvited to pitch herself. Bobby initially rebuffs her. She's expensive, sharp, and arrogant. But facts win. Manny Salazar murdered Braxton. A billion is still owed, and no one has touched Salazar. Negotiations start at 20% and end with Rachel taking 10% plus a $10 million retainer. She lays out how asset managers lend recklessly, then farm recovery out to operators like her. Salazar is a master of disguise. Hundreds of aliases, layers of shell companies, proxy firms, and a private island with a paid army and police. Braxton found buried assets. Salazar buried Braxton with them. Direct assault equals suicide. Rachel's plan runs two tracks: legal pressure and dirty fieldwork. Her trusted field pair, Sydney and Bronco, handle the violent side. Bronco's crew does extraction, intimidation, sabotage. Sid's team bribes, corrupts, and surveils. Rachel poses as a wealthy investor to meet William Horowitz, Salazar's lawyer, then reveals she knows where the money is and demands cooperation or a pricey alternative. Horowitz panics and calls security. Bronco forces compliance. Either stand aside or be scraped off the walls. Horowitz still resists. Rachel warns she'll go straight to Salazar if needed, drops her card, and leaves. Bronco and Baker embed on Salazar's island a month early to stage operations. Sid and Gucci fly to Saudi Arabia, where Salazar builds a hotel. Sid flags a blueprint discrepancy, 150,000 feet shown as 130,000, and tips off authorities. Construction halts, penalties pile, $4 million weekly. Sid bribes a port official $25,000 to detain 20,000 tons of steel, costing Salazar another $5 million while labor idles. While Horowitz scrambles, Rachel targets Salazar's oil rig. Bronco and Baker, posing as workers with Contact Javier, opt for stealth damage. Baker slips a tiny device into the rig systems to trigger a fail-safe malfunction. Inspectors shut the rig down. Salazar loses $500,000 a day. Furious, Salazar lashes Horowitz, who blames Rachel and warns Salazar Rachel is insured. Kill her, and prepaid lawyers will carry on. Horowitz estimates $28 million monthly damage and suggests a $300 million deal. Then Rachel uncovers Wolfgang, the accountant who controls Salazar's finances from a fortified Jeddah office. Wolfgang, Harvard educated, German Arab, moves funds across borders, buries them in shells, and obscures ownership. Sid exploits Wolfgang's vanity. Wolfgang hosts journalists and loves esoteric sculpture and backgammon. Sid infiltrates as a rich player, wins big with loaded dice, refuses the cash to seem noble, then gifts a sculpture, which is actually a bug with a camera and transmitter. Wolfgang's supposedly secure office gets a tiny breach. Hacker Clover streams everything: names, shell companies, records. Clover builds the legal case. Rachel files international attachment orders. Courts freeze Salazar's assets. Accounts are seized one by one. Salazar offers $300 million. Rachel demands a face to face with Salazar himself. She predicts the meeting will be on his island. Bronco confirms the team is ready. The film shifts into extraction planning. Getting off alive matters as much as reclaiming the money. Baker, explosives, Marina, Wheelman, Dunn, aviation, and Gucci, tech, have rehearsed for a month and stashed a safe house near three exit routes. East evac. Drive through the city into storm drains to boats. Tested on motorcycles to evade police. North evac. Two gyropters ready. They rehearse sub 3 minute launches. West evac. Tunnel to a 300-foot ravine. Zip line across to ATVs at the harbor. Bronco also rigs the banana pie, a covert trapdoor to swallow pursuers. They map Salazar's penthouse exits and plant bugs. Bronco fakes a heart attack to steal a skeleton key. Sid gets jailed intentionally to map escape from the station. Rachel freezes Salazar's jet and yacht via court, enraging him. Horowitz faces Salazar at a locked runway. Rachel readies to meet Salazar. Bronco gives her a watch with a hold down locator. She reminds us why her crew follows her. She once busted them out of a Chiang Mai prison. Loyalty earned, not bought. Rachel and Sid and Bronco arrive on Salazar's island. In the meeting, Salazar argues Spencer Goldstein invested in his business, not him personally, and accuses her of overreach. Rachel stays unmoved. She's there to collect his debt. He offers $350 million, then $400 million. She refuses and walks out. She calls Clover for more leverage. After a quick beer, Salazar's men surround the cafe. The team springs into action. Guided by Clover, Bronco, Sid, and Baker split the room, silence their targets, and clear Rachel out the back. Olson reports 14 dead to Salazar. Horowitz says they walked into her trap. Rachel triggers an emergency injunction that drags Salazar's hidden holdings into court scrutiny. Wolfgang panics and moves assets. Proof the bug works. Rachel orders attachments linking assets to Wolfgang's name and shuts entities down. Court moves fly fast. Skyle Chemical, turnover $1.1 billion. Primor Telecom, $800 million assets. Archon Digital Startup, $385 million cash, are frozen and seized. Objections fail. Salazar's financial fortress crumbles. Salazar's team eventually finds Bronco's bug in Wolfgang's office, but the damage is done. Impressed, Salazar calls another meeting. He offers $800 million. Rachel demands the full billion. She threatens to reveal the locations of every buried asset to every investor, turning billion scale claims into many smaller suits. Salazar caves to a billion and fires Horowitz, ordering him dropped at the airport like Braxton. Rachel confirms with Bobby that Salazar agreed. Once funds clear, Spencer Goldstein returns his jet, yacht, and seized assets. Mr. Goldstein himself calls to congratulate Bobby. 3 months later, in a remote desert compound, Rachel waits for her $100 million commission. Bobby ignores her calls. A black car approaches. Guards don't respond. Rachel finds the camp slaughtered. Olson seizes her, but she presses the watch button first. Back in New York, Bronco and Sid confront Bobby at his house. Salazar has Rachel. Bobby claims governments handle it. The pair accuse him of inaction and remind him Rachel recovered a billion, yet hasn't been paid. They leave, demanding he settle debts. On the island, Rachel sits in jail with Salazar, who asks why his plane and yacht aren't returned. Spencer Goldstein reneged. Rachel warns she's nobody to them. They may never restore his assets. Salazar threatens grisly consequences and boasts his island is impenetrable. What he doesn't know, Rachel's team has already infiltrated. Bronco and Sid, disguised as police, free Rachel and head for the exit but are spotted. Gunfire erupts. Baker detonates explosives to blast a path. They cram Rachel into a car and execute the rehearsed escape. The North Director Point is destroyed by a drone. They switch to Plan B and trigger the banana pie. Pursuers vanish into the trap. Intense firefight and preset traps slow enemies. The team reaches the safe house and decides on the West evac. They tunnel, zip line across the ravine, and race via hidden ATVs to the harbor. Baker stays behind to detonate the safe house charges to buy time. Bronco pleads, but Baker insists, telling him to get Mom off the island, then triggers the blasts. Bronco, Sid, and Rachel reach the harbor where Marina, Dunn, and Gucci wait. Olson destroys an ATV with a rocket from a helicopter. They make the boat. Bronco reports Baker didn't survive. Bronco and Sid stay behind. Later, Rachel walks into Bobby Sheen's office, finally paid. She admits she crossed a line and made the deal messy. Bobby says Salazar vanished. Flashback reveals Bronco and Sid posing as paramedics, sedating Salazar, loading him into an ambulance, sealing him in a shipping container, and sending him to Miami with a tip to the FBI. In Bobby's office, Rachel explains the endgame. Salazar in federal custody will testify that Spencer Goldstein financed a criminal enterprise, and he has motive to cooperate. Spencer Goldstein will be exposed. Bobby Sheen, whose name sits on the contracts, will be the fall guy. Bobby protests. Rachel says goodbye, and the film closes with her walking away without looking back.